The whispers of forgotten horizons. The wind whispered across the desolate research outpost, carrying fine particles of rust-colored dust that seemed to dance with an almost sentient quality. Dr. Rowan Emerson adjusted his environmental suit, his weathered hands moving with the precision of someone who had spent decades studying the remnants of civilizations long forgotten. The planet Kepler 732b was not a welcoming environment. Its surface was a labyrinth of geological anomalies, rock formations that defied conventional understanding, and electromagnetic interference that made standard scanning equipment virtually useless. Most researchers had long abandoned hope of finding anything significant here, but Rowan was not most researchers. His team had been excavating a series of geological strata that seemed to pulse with an unusual energy signature. Initial scans suggested something extraordinary lay beneath the planet's seemingly barren surface. 3 weeks of meticulous work had yielded nothing but frustration and mounting tension among his research crew. Dr. Emerson called Elena Rodriguez, his lead geological analyst. "You might want to see this." Rowan moved across the research platform, his movements deliberate and controlled. The harsh environment of Kepler 732b demanded respect. One mistake could be fatal. Elena's holographic display showed a peculiar geometric pattern emerging from the rock layers, unlike anything they had encountered before. "Enhanced resonance scan," Rowan muttered, activating a specialized piece of equipment. The device hummed to life, its quantum sensors penetrating layers of rock that had remained undisturbed for potentially millions of years. What emerged was not just a geological formation. It was a structure. Precise. Geometric. Intentional. "It's artificial," Elena whispered, her professional composure momentarily cracking. The artifact, if one could call it that, seemed to exist in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Its surface shimmered with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change when viewed from different angles. Traditional archaeological methods were useless here. This was something entirely beyond human comprehension. Rowan's mind raced. Years of research, countless expeditions, countless disappointments, and now this. A discovery that could rewrite everything humanity understood about technological evolution, about the potential of intelligent design. "Begin comprehensive scanning protocol," he instructed Elena. "I want every quantum signature, every microscopic detail documented. This is not just a discovery, this is a potential revolution." Little did Rowan know that his discovery would set in motion a chain of events that would challenge humanity's understanding of technology, space, and their place in the universe. The artifact was more than a relic, it was a message. A challenge. A key to potentials yet unexplored. As the research team worked through the night, the artifact continued to pulse with an energy that seemed to whisper of distant civilizations, of technologies beyond imagination, of a future where the boundaries between possible and impossible would blur into insignificance. Rowan Emerson stood at the precipice of a discovery that would change everything. And the universe was about to take notice. Would you like me to continue with the next part or provide any specific feedback on this initial segment? Threads of Quantum Possibility. Commander Ezra Holloway studied the holographic projections with an intensity that bordered on obsession. The artifact recovered from Kepler 732b had been transferred to the most secure research facility on Earth's lunar base, a sprawling complex hidden beneath the lunar surface's ancient craters. "Conventional analysis is useless," Dr. Miranda Winters reported, her holographic projection flickering slightly. "The quantum resonance patterns defied every known scientific principle. The object seems to exist in multiple states simultaneously, almost like a living mathematical equation." Ezra ran his fingers through his graying hair, the weight of potential global implications pressing down on his shoulders. As the lead strategist for the Interstellar Research and Defense Initiative, IRDI, he had seen countless alleged breakthrough technologies. But this was different. The artifact, a crystalline structure no larger than a human hand, pulsed with an inner light that seemed to breathe, to think, to communicate in a language beyond human comprehension. Initial scans revealed exotic particle interactions that suggested technology centuries, perhaps millennia, beyond current human understanding. "We've detected something else," a young technician named Marcus interrupted, his voice trembling. "There are quantum entanglement signatures suggesting the artifact is communicating." Communicating? Ezra raised an eyebrow. With what? Before Marcus could respond, alarms blared across the research facility. The artifact began to emit a low-frequency vibration that made the advanced quantum dampening chambers resonate with an almost musical precision. Suddenly, a holographic projection erupted from the artifact, not a message, not a signal, but a three-dimensional representation of stellar coordinates that no human navigation system had ever charted. It was a map, but more than a map. It was an invitation. Dr. Winters approached the projection, her scientific curiosity overriding any sense of caution. "These coordinates," she whispered, "they're not just pointing to a location. They're suggesting a pathway. A method of traversing space that doesn't conform to our understanding of physics." Ezra understood the implications immediately. If this artifact was revealing a method of faster-than-light travel that bypassed current technological limitations, it would revolutionize human space exploration. But it would also attract attention, dangerous attention. "We're not the only ones who've detected this," Ezra said grimly. A series of encrypted communications had already been intercepted. Alien civilizations, some friendly, some not, were becoming aware of the discovery. The lunar base's defense systems began registering multiple quantum disturbances. Something was coming. Something was responding to the artifact's signal. "Prepare quantum defense protocols," Ezra commanded. "And get Dr. Emerson here immediately. If anyone can understand this artifact, it's the man who discovered it." As if in response to his words, the artifact pulsed once more. The holographic projection expanded, revealing complex mathematical equations that seemed to dance and shift, telling a story of technological potential that humanity was only beginning to comprehend. The threads of quantum possibility were unraveling, and humanity stood at the precipice of a discovery that would challenge everything they knew about the universe. The Resonance Protocol. The International Quantum Research Facility in Geneva buzzed with an electric tension that even the most advanced soundproofing couldn't contain. Dr. Kira Novak stood before a wall of holographic displays, her mind racing faster than the quantum processors surrounding her. 3 months had passed since the lunar base incident. The artifact, now dubbed the Nexus Cipher, had become the most heavily guarded and studied object in human history. Its complexity defied every known scientific paradigm, presenting a puzzle that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. "The quantum entanglement patterns are not random," Kira muttered, her fingers dancing across multiple holographic interfaces. Unlike most researchers who saw the artifact as a technological marvel, she saw it as a living language, a communication waiting to be understood. Dr. Victor Lindholm, her primary research partner, approached with a steaming cup of synthetic coffee. "You've been working for 36 hours straight," he observed, concern etching his weathered features. Kira barely acknowledged him, her attention fixed on a series of complex mathematical sequences that seemed to shift and breathe with an almost organic intelligence. "These aren't just equations," she said, her voice carrying a mixture of excitement and disbelief. "They're a blueprint. A method of communication that transcends traditional dimensional understanding." The Nexus Cipher had become more than just an artifact. It was a key, a potential gateway to understanding technologies that existed beyond human conception. Each analysis revealed layers of complexity that suggested the object was not merely a technological device, but a form of intelligent communication. Deep within the facility's most secure wing, a team of 127 top researchers from various disciplines worked around the clock. Quantum physicists, xenolinguists, mathematicians, and theoretical engineers approached the artifact from every conceivable angle. Dr. Novak, a young researcher named Elena Petrovna, interrupted, "We've detected something unusual in the quantum resonance patterns." She projected a three-dimensional representation that made the entire research team pause. The holographic display showed a complex network of interconnected quantum states, each point pulsing with an energy that seemed to defy the laws of traditional physics. But it was more than just a scientific marvel, it was a message. Kira's breakthrough came at 3:47 a.m., after 72 consecutive hours of analysis. The artifact wasn't just communicating, it was teaching. Each quantum fluctuation was a fragment of a larger narrative, a method of transferring knowledge that went beyond language, beyond traditional communication. It's a protocol, she realized suddenly. Not just information, but a method of transferring comprehensive understanding. The implications were staggering. If she was correct, the Nexus cipher was essentially a universal translation matrix, a way of communicating complex ideas that transcended linguistic, technological, and even dimensional barriers. Commander Ezra Holloway arrived shortly after, his military demeanor contrasting sharply with the research environment. "Report," he demanded, his eyes scanning the holographic displays. Kira took a deep breath. The artifact is more than a technological device. It's a communication protocol designed to transfer comprehensive knowledge across potentially infinite dimensional barriers. Holloway's military-trained mind struggled to comprehend the full implications. In simpler terms, Doctor. Imagine if an entire civilization's knowledge could be transmitted through a single quantum signature, Kira explained. Not just data, but complete contextual understanding. Language, technology, cultural nuances, everything compressed into a form of communication that bypasses traditional limitations. The research facility's quantum sensors began registering unprecedented energy fluctuations. The Nexus cipher was responding to their increased understanding, its internal structure becoming more complex with each breakthrough. Unexpectedly, a series of global communication networks began experiencing unusual quantum interference. Satellite systems, quantum communication arrays, and even standard electromagnetic networks started displaying strange patterns that mirrored the artifact's quantum signature. "It's spreading," Dr. Lindholm observed, his voice a mixture of awe and concern. "Whatever this communication protocol is, it's not confined to our research facility." Kira watched the quantum networks evolve, understanding dawning in her eyes. It's not an invasion. It's an invitation. A method of sharing knowledge that doesn't require traditional technological transfer. Military and scientific leadership around the world began receiving fragmented communications. Blueprints of technologies beyond current human understanding started appearing in research facilities, quantum networks, and even in the dreams of mathematicians and theoretical physicists. The resonance protocol was activating, and humanity was about to receive a transmission that would change everything they understood about communication, technology, and their place in the universe. As the day progressed, Kira realized they were no longer just studying an artifact. They were engaging in first contact, not with a specific alien civilization, but with a form of intelligence that transcended traditional understanding of communication and existence. "We're being taught," she whispered to herself, watching the quantum networks pulse and evolve. Not conquered. Taught. The world was about to enter a new era of understanding, and the Nexus cipher was its unexpected messenger. Convergence of realms. Admiral Victor Reyes stood on the observation deck of the Horizon Prime, humanity's most advanced research vessel. The ship represented the first practical application of the knowledge gleaned from the Nexus cipher, a testament to human adaptability and the transformative power of the mysterious artifact. The vessel was unlike anything previously conceived. Its hull seemed to shimmer between solid and quantum states, a living embodiment of the technological breakthrough that had emerged from Dr. Kira Novak's research. Traditional propulsion systems had been completely replaced by a quantum resonance drive that defied conventional understanding of space and time. Quantum stability at 99.7%, reported Lieutenant Aria Rodriguez, her fingers dancing across a holographic control interface that seemed to breathe and pulse with the ship's own energy. Dimensional coherence maintaining optimal parameters. Reyes watched as the ship's external sensors mapped an impossible journey. They weren't simply traveling through space, they were negotiating with reality itself, finding paths between dimensions that most scientists would have considered pure fantasy mere months ago. The journey had begun 3 weeks earlier, when a series of coordinates extracted from the Nexus cipher's quantum signature suggested a destination beyond known star charts. It wasn't an invitation to a place, but to a possibility, a convergence point where multiple realities intersected. Dr. Elena Petrovna, now the lead quantum navigation specialist, approached with a concerned expression. "Admiral, we're approaching the dimensional threshold. The readings are unprecedented." The ship's interior seemed to respond to her words. Holographic displays shifted and morphed, presenting complex mathematical equations that danced like living art. The Horizon Prime was more than a vessel, it was a sentient exploration of the unknown. "Activate resonance protocol," Reyes commanded, his voice steady despite the magnitude of their mission. A low hum began to fill the ship, not from traditional engines, but from a quantum field that seemed to negotiate with the fabric of reality itself. Outside the ship's protective quantum membrane, space itself began to twist and fold, creating intricate patterns that challenged human perception. "We're receiving transmission fragments," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. "But they're not coming from any conventional communication channel. It's more like, the space between spaces is talking to us." Fragments of information began to coalesce on the main display. They weren't just data points, but complex narrative threads that suggested multiple potential realities. Each fragment told a story of potential technological evolution, of civilizations that had found ways to transcend traditional limitations of physics and communication. Suddenly, the ship encountered something entirely unexpected. A quantum barrier that was both a physical obstacle and a form of intelligent communication. It wasn't blocking their path, it was testing their understanding. "The barrier is responding to our quantum signature," Dr. Petrovna said, her voice a mixture of scientific excitement and profound reverence. "It's not just a defensive mechanism. It's a form of communication." Admiral Reyes understood the significance. This was more than a journey of exploration. It was a first contact scenario that redefined the very concept of communication between different forms of intelligence. The ship's quantum drive began to resonate with the barrier, creating a complex dialogue that went beyond language. Mathematical equations became conversations. Quantum fluctuations transformed into cultural exchanges. "We're being evaluated," Reyes realized. "Not just our technological capabilities, but our capacity for understanding." Hours passed, though time seemed to lose meaning within the quantum realm. The Horizon Prime negotiated with the barrier, proving humanity's potential through a language of pure possibility. Then, unexpectedly, a breakthrough. The quantum barrier began to dissolve, revealing a vista that defied human comprehension. It wasn't a location in the traditional sense, but a convergence point where multiple realities intersected. Civilizations that had long transcended traditional physical limitations revealed themselves, not as conquering forces, but as potential collaborators. "First contact protocols," Reyes said softly, "have just been completely rewritten." The ship's quantum interface began receiving comprehensive data streams. They weren't just receiving information about advanced technologies or alien civilizations. They were receiving invitations to understanding, comprehensive knowledge that suggested humanity was ready to join a broader, multidimensional community of intelligent beings. Lieutenant Rodriguez's hands trembled as she processed the incoming data. "Sir, these transmissions, they're offering us access to technological understanding that could solve nearly every challenge facing human civilization. Energy production, environmental restoration, medical breakthroughs." Reyes watched the convergence of possibilities, understanding that this moment would define humanity's future. They hadn't conquered a new frontier, they had been deemed worthy of understanding it. As the Horizon Prime completed its impossible journey, Admiral Victor Reyes knew that everything was about to change. Humanity was no longer just a species looking outward, they had become participants in a cosmic dialogue of unprecedented complexity. The convergence was complete. The invitation had been accepted. The infinite horizon. The global transmission came simultaneously to every major research facility, government center, and communication network on Earth. It wasn't a message in any traditional sense, it was a comprehensive quantum download that rewrote humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. At the heart of the International Quantum Research Facility, Dr. Kira Novak watched in awe as the final pieces of the cosmic puzzle began to align. The journey of the Horizon Prime had been more than a mission of exploration, it had been a test, a negotiation, and ultimately, an invitation. Admiral Victor Reyes stood beside her, his military bearing softened by the profound implications of what they were witnessing. The quantum data streams revealed not just technological potential, but a fundamental restructuring of how intelligent civilizations could communicate and coexist. It's not conquest, Kira whispered, more to herself than to Reyes. It's collaboration. The transmissions began to take shape, revealing a network of civilizations that had long transcended traditional physical limitations. These were not alien invaders, but cosmic collaborators who had been observing humanity's potential for generations. The Nexus cipher had been their method of assessment, a sophisticated test of human curiosity, adaptability, and potential for growth. Holographic displays across the facility began to show comprehensive blueprints of technologies that seemed to dance between the boundaries of science and imagination. Energy production systems that could restore planetary ecosystems in decades. Medical technologies that could eliminate disease at its quantum root. Communication protocols that could bridge not just linguistic barriers, but dimensional ones. "We're being offered membership," Commander Ezra Holloway said, joining them. His voice carried the weight of historical significance. Not as a conquered species, but as potential partners. The implications were staggering. Humanity was being invited to join a cosmic consortium of civilizations that had long since moved beyond traditional concepts of warfare, resource competition, and limited technological development. Reports began streaming in from around the globe. The quantum transmission wasn't just reaching scientific facilities, it was touching every aspect of human society. Economic systems, environmental restoration projects, medical research, all were receiving comprehensive downloads of transformative knowledge. Dr. Elena Petrovna entered the room, her hands clutching a quantum tablet that seemed to pulse with living information. "The initial assessments are complete," she reported. "Our civilization has passed the primary evaluation criteria." Reyes raised an eyebrow. "And those criteria were?" Kira smiled, understanding the deeper significance. "Curiosity. Adaptability. The willingness to ask questions rather than assume we know everything. Our ability to look at the impossible and see potential instead of limitations." The global response was complex. Some saw it as the greatest moment in human history, a comprehensive invitation to join a broader cosmic community. Others viewed it with suspicion, fearing loss of human identity or potential manipulation. But the transmission made one thing clear: this was an invitation, not an invasion. A collaborative opportunity, not a conquering force. As the day progressed, the full magnitude of the moment became clear. The quantum knowledge transfer wasn't just about technology, it was about a fundamental reimagining of human potential. Scientific breakthroughs that had seemed generations away were now possible. Environmental challenges that had seemed insurmountable now had comprehensive solution matrices. "We're being taught," Holloway observed, "not controlled." The Horizon Prime began its return journey, but it was no longer just a research vessel. It had become a living symbol of humanity's potential, a bridge between what was and what could be. In research facilities, government centers, and community spaces around the world, people began to understand that something fundamental had changed. The universe was no longer a challenge to be conquered, but a conversation to be explored. Kira looked at the quantum displays, watching the complex network of possibilities unfold. Humanity had been tested, evaluated, and found worthy. Not through military might or technological superiority, but through an fundamental capacity for wonder, for asking questions, for seeing potential where others saw only limitations. "Welcome to the conversation," she whispered, as the quantum networks continued to pulse with infinite possibilities. The infinite horizon had opened, and humanity was about to take its first true steps into a universe far more complex, far more beautiful, and far more collaborative than anyone had ever imagined.